So, the best advice I've ever gotten in my lifetime, it's probably hands down the fact that you need to just build your image in terms of like how you want to be perceived around the world. And you really need to think about this, instead of looking so much inwards and thinking like, who am I? And like thinking, what's my purpose and what's my existence? Like, don't get me wrong, these things happen because, things in your life makes you feel unconfident and you got to kind of revisit the trauma to understand why you're feeling so down and you don't feel so much confidence. You got to look at those things, but you also have to then think about how you want to shape yourself, how you want to become in the future, what type of person you want to be. Overall, your life should really be determined by what you want to really be. And it takes time. Like, don't get me wrong, I still don't even fully know what exactly I want my life to be, but I have a better idea of who I want to become, the type of person I want to be, the man I want to be, just these things. And I've probably never felt as good as I have now that I've started working towards these things. For instance, like for me, I wanted to be somebody that's really strong, not really strong, but just at least decent physique. I was kind of a fat kid growing up, and now I'd say like I have a pretty decent physique. So that's like one of those things where I didn't have that, and I used to look a lot around and be like, damn, what can I improve about myself? What are some things that can make me feel better and become a new person? Like, really reinventing myself. And that was one of those things. And then another thing was money. How do I get more money? Get a better job. These things that just kind of hit you, but it's like also what type of job you want to do, what type of person you want to be when you're doing your work. Do you feel proud of the work you do? You got to really like imagine putting your dream life together on like a little vision board or just like writing down the things you want to be. And like, it's perfect timing with the New Year's and everything. I'd say like the number one thing for me this year is just to like have these goals. Now, I'm not going to exactly say what it is because I feel like some things I want to keep private to myself, but I have goals of how I want to keep improving as a person, the type of man I want to be by the end of the year, and keep it pushing, keep it going forward. Think 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road, and that helped me a lot. Like last year, I'd say, not even last year, but like the year before, 2020. Holy shit, 2020, 2023. That's when I was at like my rock bottom, you could say. I was doing my own business for a long time, was pretty successful with that, and then eventually things went south with that business. And then once things went south with that business, I completely lost myself. I had like no idea of who I was going to be, my image, my self-image. I felt really shitty. And overall, it was at that point in my life where I realized, okay, I'm still young, so I have a little bit of time to figure it out. And I was like, all right, well, I have no clue what I want to do because this clothing thing I was doing for a long time was working. I was made pretty good money, and it was a little bit stressful because it's your own shit. But like, eventually you just kind of get better, and it's like, all right, that's kind of cleared out the way. So then I started working again, and then I realized, okay, I want to do this career, so I'm going to go back to school, get this certification, get this thing done, and then blah, 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 get into it. Fast forward, I'm here now, and I'm doing pretty well, making decent money, and, so on and so forth. I just feel really good about myself overall. When you put yourself on the trajectory of a goal, even if you're not at the end point of your goal, you just start feeling better, like about yourself, your self-image. If you're just a person aimlessly living life and you don't even have like a broad idea of where you want to end up, that's when you can really feel like, okay, like shit, depressed. And then you're starting to think more like, oh, I got to look inwards to find myself. And it's like, yeah, maybe to a certain degree, but then also go just live life. Go think of something you want to do. Go think about the person you want to become, in like 10 years time. Also, never like expect to become a whole brand new person in like a year. Maybe that can happen, but at the end of the day, you want to also think really long term as well. Not like, oh, I'm going to have this exact amount of net worth at this age. It's like, okay, that's a decent idea to have, but like, don't stick to completely those things. For instance, I think 10 years down the road, I have a broad idea of the things I want to do and the person I want to become. I want to, become more financially stable, have, certain things and belongings and, own property and stuff like that. And those are like long-term goals, but I know eventually I'll get there. But then, you look at those goals and you break it down into how do I get there? It's like, okay, I need a better career path. I get to a better career path. How do I do that? I go in and I study and I join a career where I can make more money. When I'm making more money, do I also want to pursue a career where in the future I can also work less hours and eventually get my time back and then do these other things I want to do? For instance, like these things, like you kind of just you obtain the sense of those things over time, but at the end of the day, having these broad goals and then eventually breaking them down into more achievable goals. And then also, just spending too much time introspectively can also be kind of detrimental. Like eventually, I think once you're done dealing with like the traumas and shit you had growing up and the shit you went through, it's like, all right, you've gone through that now. You've grown and you've matured and you've probably realized like there's nothing I can do to change the past. You know, the people that were involved and whatever, so on and so forth. I can't go back and change their behavior. The only thing I can do is learn from those things and then eventually just try to become a better person in the future and try to just realize I don't want to be the same person that was in those situations, and I want to be the bigger person, and I want to be able to move on, treat people better, treat myself better, and have a better idea of who I want to become. Because at the end of the day, who you are really just depends on how you see yourself. And if you see yourself as a winner, or at least somebody that's a good person, that's going somewhere with your life, that has more things to accomplish, you'll feel better. You'll become a more just chill, overall, down to earth, but like, you know, you feel more confident. Like that's the only way I can say it. Like, you feel more confident. You just feel like, man, I can do anything I want. Like literally. So anyways, this video is all over the place. I know it's just a late night. I wanted to get on here, film type video, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm really tired, but I was like, man, I got to get on here and fucking record. I was also talking to some old homies today, which was really nice. I haven't, these last couple of days, I don't know if you guys seen the previous videos where I was just saying like, oh, I've been trying to catch up with some old folks, where shit just ended and, where it was, left in the South, left in a weird place with people. And I was like, fuck that shit, man. I'm trying to, at the end of the day, I got money now, and having money is like, it's cool. But, I really miss the human connections, because human connections is what makes this life shit fun. Like imagine having to travel by yourself. I could do it. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to travel by myself too, but it would be more fun with the homies, So that's just what I've been thinking about a lot lately. But yeah, I've been good. Feeling really good by myself. And the number one thing that just helped me was like, all right, stop looking so much introspectively. Think about who you want to become and do everything you can to become that person. Identify yourself with the person you want to be, like imagine the best version of you. He's making the most amount of money ever. He's in shape, and I'm in shape too now. Fuck yeah, dude. I feel really good. Holy shit. I don't know. Just fucking flexing here, but yeah, just imagine like yourself, like, how much money you're making, the type of life you want to live, how much hours you spend working too. At the end of the day, also, this is a side thing, but like, I don't think you should work more than like maybe 6 hours a day. Now, I know this sounds kind of crazy. It's like, oh, in this culture we live where everyone is supposed to technically work and be on the grind set of 13-hour days. It's like, why the fuck do you want to work your whole life? Go make some memories. I feel like that's the whole point of life. You work when you want to work, and not when you want to work, but like you work enough to the point where it satisfies that part of you where it's like, oh, you're creating something or you're building something valuable. But at the same time, then you also want to go live your life too. So like, for instance, if your work is you creating something and you get satisfaction from it, which I think everyone should find something where they get satisfaction in the work, that's ideal. And then after that, you go chill, live your life. You don't want to spend your whole life working and then looking back and being like, I did nothing for 40 years. All I did was make enough to live, and then you were living to work. So anyways, another side tangent there. But like, imagine the money you want to make, the person you want to become, how big and strong you are, or, how fit you are, or, the people in your life that you want to have, and the goals you want to set for yourself. And ultimately, even if you don't get to every single one of those things, just in the pursuit of those things, you'll feel better. Like for me, and this is one thing that I'll always say, but like for me, meditating is probably the hardest thing for me to do right now consistently. And I still do it every day. It's hard because it's like, until you're in the flow state of meditating, it's not going to like feel good. But once you're in the flow state, it hits. And then the thing is also just building the muscle of doing it every day. You do it every day, and then you're like, oh, fuck. It's just like one of those things where it's a bit difficult at first, but like once you keep doing it, you start realizing how much stronger you are as a person on the inside too, because you're able to do these things that you didn't think you could do. And anyways, just another thing. Meditating is super awesome. Like, obviously, I don't spend too much time doing it. I spend maybe like 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day if I don't have enough time. And just that much time alone just like resets and rewires your brain somehow. But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Those were all over the place, but I just really wanted to film. And yeah, of course, flex the gains too. Man. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in my next video. You guys take care. Peace.